Hey comic book fans, my nerdy friends, my geeky padres, what's going on? Welcome to Mangaing with RWC. It's not really trading, because it's not a trade. It's manga. And this is the first manga I've ever read. So I don't know if you can make manga a verb, but we're going to. So this is Mangaing with RWC, DeathNote, Black Edition, Volume 1. Okay, DeathNote, story by Tasugumi Oba, and art by Takashi Obata. I just butchered the crap out of those names. I apologize. My language is pretty much limited to English, so I'm really bad at other languages, names, and things of that nature. And some of that has relevance in this book as well. Like the names, like the main character I got, his name is Light. That's easy. But the Shinigami, maybe that's the word, is another main character. His name is Ryuk, I believe. Ryuk is like a demon, pretty much. And wow, this is going to be all over the place. The Shinigami keep things called Death Notes, which is pretty much a notebook that they can write names in, and that person will die. If they don't specify a certain way for said person to die, they will die of a heart attack. And if you don't specify a time in which said person dies, I believe it's 4 minutes that person will die after you write their name. But when you write their name, you have to picture their face in your mind. So Ryuk, here, I'll show you Ryuk. Ryuk has a Death Note and loses it on Earth, in the human world. Light, this gentleman right here, finds it, picks it up, and Ryuk finds him, tells him what it's all about, and Light takes it upon himself to rid the world of evil people. One thing to note is that only a person who holds a Death Note can see a Shinigami. And I believe it's only the Shinigami that the Death Note belonged to prior. So Light, as I said, decides to rid the world of evil people. He catches the news and starts writing down criminals' names. Said criminal dies of heart attack. He does it a couple times. And he decides he will become, like, master of the world that he creates, which will be clean of all criminals, pretty much. He thinks that as he continues to kill off criminals, people will think being a criminal will just lead to death. This, of course, draws the attention of police, FBI, like, I forget what they call it. I think it's the NPA in Japan. And draws the attention of a genius crime problem solver named L. L begins to pretty much figure out all of what Light's doing, kind of narrows it down to where Light is, and there's this back and forth play between Light and L, where Light will do things to test certain circumstances in which people will die. Like, he'll test and see if somebody can die in a car accident. Dies in a car accident. Writes down their name, writes down accident, traffic accident, they die. He also figures out that he can get people to do certain things before they die. So, like, one guy he writes down will hijack bus at bus stop, wherever, you know, and then 15 minutes later dies of a car crash or something. He also finds out he can get people to commit suicide instead of just heart attacks and, you know, traffic accidents. Because that is something that most people have thought about before. You can't get somebody to, you know, kill, like, die by things that wouldn't normally happen. There's a lot of rules that go into the DeathNote and using DeathNote. But it's very, very interesting. I can see where some people wouldn't like this, as it deals with a very moral subject. Like, if you could just blindly kill hundreds of people by writing their names in a notebook, you know, some people have a problem with that. But if you go into it just as it's a different kind of story, it's enjoyable. Now, I picked this up because Reader 17, Cami, suggested it to me. And in our discussions about the book, she said that if this had been an Image book, like a new Image #1 comes out called DeathNote, everybody would jump on it. And I have to agree. This is one of those books that obviously it has a long run. I have the first 4 of them. There's 2 more that I don't have yet. That I'll end up picking up because I really enjoyed this. But yeah, I have to reiterate what she said to me. If this was an Image book, everybody would go nuts over it. It'd be like a whole new, like, Walking Dead. I could see something like that happening with this. Of course, it already has. It's a huge book. There is, I believe it's an animated TV show. I would assume it'd have to be. I might check those out after I read the books. I'm not sure. It depends on how difficult it is to come across them. But I have seen them on Amazon. Now, I'm not going to say this is for everybody. Like I said, it deals with a certain level of moral flexibility you have to enjoy this. But it's not much worse than some other books. You know what I mean? Like The Walking Dead, as I mentioned earlier, it deals with zombies and killing people who, you know, are already dead or whatever. You know, there's a little moral flexibility in that book as well. So it's kind of, along the same lines, but a little bit different. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I've noticed that each black edition, the first couple pages are color, like I showed you. But as you go through the book, it's all black and white. These are all in English. Thank goodness, because as I said earlier, I'm not good with other languages. But the other thing that really kind of threw me with manga that most people know is you read these backwards. And there's a little diagram that tells you how to read it. So you read it like this, like page by page, weird. And then you go from this side, like first panel, second panel, third panel, fourth panel, that kind of thing. One thing I do like, at the top of every like fifth page or so, it says, read this way. I thought that was really funny. But overall, yeah, pretty cool. I really enjoyed it so far. As I said, I have 2, 3, and 4 over here. I will be reading those very soon. And probably getting 5 and 6 relatively quickly as well. Just because, you know, I'm kind of a completist and I have to have all of them and read the entire story. So, yeah. So as far as like my first manga experience, this was fantastic. I really, really did enjoy it. I don't know if I'll go about like searching out manga now. But if anybody has any suggestions about it, I'm not opposed to reading it now. I'm not like scared of it, you know. I can go flip between regular American comic books, or yeah, just regular comic books. I was gonna say American, but you know, they're all over the place. Anyway, and manga, I can flip reading directions, I guess. But yeah, real fun. You know, depending on how you look at it as fun or not. But I enjoyed it. One thing I did like, in between like books, there's these how to use the DeathNote instructions. On this one it says, one page taken from the DeathNote or even a fragment of the page contains the full effects of the note. So if you write a name on just a little sliver of the note, that person will pass away. So yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I'll be moving on to the next volume, of course, and I'll probably stick with it through the end. So if that's that, you know, kind of gets you interested, give it a shot. I think I found this on Amazon for, I want to say it was like $4 or $5. It's used, but I didn't mind because I was just going to use it anyway. You know? So, yeah. Give it a shot if you're up for it. I think it's cool. And that'll be it. So, thank you for mangaing with me, and I'll see you next time.